Welcome to Let's Face the Facts, the rewatch podcast for the classic sitcom, The Facts of Life. Join us each week as we synopsize, analyze, criticize, and ultimately idolize the show. And now, here's your host of Let's Face the Facts, the wonderful David Almeida.
Thank you, Matthew Arter. Welcome back. It's another week, another show. Thank you for downloading and pressing play. This week, Ken Reid returns to the show. Ken Reid, your TV guidance counselor and mine, an amazing podcaster, and he outputs so much other types of content. We talk about it on the show. You know I love any time he is on the show. I still kind of fanboy a little bit about it, so just always thrilled when he's here. Now, we got a little bit of housekeeping I got to do. Want to welcome a new Tutti Frutti. I want to welcome Pepe. The accent is on the second E, P-E-P-E accent. So it is not Pepe, it is Pepe. Hey, Pepe, this is your official shout out. Pepe, joining the Patreon, gets this official shout-out, as well as first access to the entire catalog of TV Talkaholics. There's over 2 years of them, by the way, FYI. And you also get exclusive weekly extras and outtakes that nobody else ever will get to hear, ever in the history of time going forward. Now, Pepe, I'm sorry it took me so long, but happily I've been banking some shows ahead. So you joined a while ago, and now this is the first time I'm actually getting to publicly give you the shout out. So, dear listeners, please belatedly join me in welcoming Pepe to the family. Second bit of business to cover is, remember we were talking about whether Over Our Heads in that final appearance was the real set or a makeshift half-assed version of the set? Well, I did do a little bit of an analysis, if you recall. Tutti Frutti Peter B. had pointed out the initial concept to me, and then we had a little bit of a back and forth. Well, I ended up making a video with visual aids and everything to explain my side of the argument and to back up my hypothesis and claim as to what I think is going on here. So that video will be on this episode's webpage. You just got to click that go to webpage thing in your podcatcher, or just go to facethefactspod.com where you find all of that extra stuff. Now, are we ready to move on to this week? Ken Reid joined me and Matthew in watching Season 9, Episode 17, called Let's Face the Music. And it had an original air date of February 13th of 1988. Are we ready to jump on in? Let's Face the Facts with Ken Reid. Welcome back to the show, Ken Reid.
Thank you for having me. Is this the third time this year? Or?
It might be the third time this year, but I was going to ask you. We posed this last time and I didn't do my research. This time I did. Do you know what number appearance this makes for you on this show now?
7th?
Dude, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did the math.
Man. But yeah, this is where it's mid-December that we're recording this. And it's like, yeah, I think this is the third time this year we've had you on because we're getting down to the wire, getting down to the end. And we want to get you in on as many episodes as we can.
I'll make an appearance for every season. So 9 total. You got 2 left.
Even though there is no more Over Our Heads. They have officially closed it.
They replaced it with Pippa, and I'm fine with that.
True. You're one of the, you're at the Pippa pep rally.
I'm a Pippa maniac.
Pippa maniac. Piptomaniac. No, it doesn't work.
Pepto-Bismol. That's me.
That's a real banger. So always thrilled to have you back, and you even dressed up for us. You're wearing a really fabulous, not just an ugly Christmas sweater, with pink flamingos on it, like Florida.
It's Florida related. I have this one, and then I actually have I didn't think to bring it down, but I actually have a Divine pink flamingos Christmas sweater.
Oh, would love to see that.
It's real good.
That's great.
I'm just hoping you're not wearing anything else.
Well, maybe you'll find out.
Ooh.
See how good this appearance goes.
Get a couple of more eggnogs in them, and we'll see how it goes.
I do want to reiterate, it is very cold in here.
It is. Oh, you said before it's cold. What is the weather?
It's not as bad as it has been, but it's like raining. We're supposed to get a snowstorm, a nor'easter tomorrow. It's like in the 30s. It's a little windy. It's
In the
chilly,
30s.
frigid. It's a little nippy.
Ugh. Yeah, we had a day with a lot of cloud cover, so it was only in the 70s today.
Very sorry for your loss.
Yeah, we're like, it should be lower than that. It's been in the 80s, and we're very pissed off about it.
Ugh, I'm cranky.
Oh, that's okay. Well, Matthew, let's get you uncranky by talking about this episode of The Facts of Life.
That ain't gonna do it.
Season 9, episode 17, Let's Face the Music. Oh, that almost sounds like the title of an awesome podcast. But Let's Face the Music from February 13th of 1988. Well,
not a Valentine's episode.
and not a Valentine's episode by any stretch of the imagination. Though the dude at the end is being kind of flirty with Joe when he thinks she's Blair. There's a little kind of weird.
Who hasn't done that?
I mean, granted. I mean, yeah. Guilty on all charges, Your Honor. Well, general thoughts about the episode. I will say, not my favorite.
It's a small episode. I'll say that. It's maybe the least ambitious episode of the entire season.
But I will also go on record saying it does have a narrative device that we have never, ever used before and will not use again, in that at the end of the episode, when they're imagining what the musical act could be, we have these two brief cutaway, I wonder what that would be. Not a fantasy sequence, not a projected future or a nightmare. This is just us all collectively speculating.
Yeah, like A Secret Life of Walter Mitty mass delusion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe golden oldies. I mean, that was when you were here last.
Yeah,
right?
they're like little bite-sized golden oldie appetizers instead of the whole thing.
Well, that's it. And that it's not the whole episode. We've experienced that. But the fact that there's just this little cutaway that, wonder what that would be like. And we have to assume that they all collectively had the same thought, the same analysis and perception.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And then Tootie doesn't know how to play a guitar, and they're punk rockers, but they have bad costume shop wigs on. Like, that's what they're saying to each other.
Yeah. It's very, very weird and completely unique to this episode. So I guess it has that.
It's also one of the more like in a season. No, Facts of Life has had all the cliche sitcom episodes.
Every one of them.
Trapped in an elevator, like all of them. This has the most sitcom-y feeling A and B plot. Like or there's almost a C plot too. Like the mix up at the hair salon is so like sub Lucy kind of terrible sitcom thing. And then the fundraiser is basically like the boss is coming to dinner plot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. And what could go wrong? Oh, right. Everything.
Right.
Well, you're actually kind of already starting to do it, Ken. So while we're talking about A plot, B plot, and C plot, this is the time of the show where we put our guest on the spot. And we ask you if you would please provide a 1 to 2 sentence synopsis of the entire episode, not unlike one might read in a TV guide.
Blair and Joe swap places as they worry about finding a musical act for the Routine Center, whatever it is, Community Center's fundraiser.
This is why you are the TV guidance counselor, Ken. You are the master.
Sorry, yeah, let's make the big bucks.
Yes. As Dana Gould says, that dumb truck of podcast money backs its way up the driveway every month. Yeah. Fantastic. Matthew, your general thoughts. You're being a little quiet there.
I'm only going to say this. It's not directed at anybody here, but there are a lot of accents in this episode that we had to suffer through once. And if I have to suffer through them again, I will throw this laptop into the lagoon.
So that was Matthew's kind, and I'm putting kind in air quotes, kind way of saying, David, please do not mimic the Australian accents.
Or the French accents.
Or the Brooklyn fake French accents.
Or the Brooklyn accents.
Yes.
We know.
Okay.
Did you recognize who was playing the Brooklyn accented French guy?
Yes. We will get to him.
Okay.
Let's save it. Let's save something for as we go through this chronologically.
Teaser.
Jesus, Ken. I don't know if you know how podcasts work, but you can't.
I've never done one before.
You can't just jump around.
Sometimes we jump around. There are times.
It's not linear.
There's a structure.
It has a structure and it must be followed. And the next part of the structure is nuts and bolts. God damn it. So the episode was written by Phil Doran and Douglas Arango.
It took two people to write this.
Well, I feel like one of them unwrote it. Like he pulled it back a little bit.
Mr. Doran and Mr. Arango are writing partners. They both came on board as supervising producers last season. As far as writing, this is the 5th of 5 episodes that they would write. So this is their last one.
This killed their career.
It did.
This killed their writing career.
Last season, he wrote The Little Chill, Where's Papa, and 62 Pickup, Ken.
Yeah, and The Little Chill is I really like The Little Chill. That's when the old first season girls come back.
Yeah, I like half of it. The other half of it is so upsetting when they're like, this is Joe Polnicek. She lives with us now. You've met her before.
Yeah.
How dare you? Okay.
She's very forgettable.
This is Joe. She's the reason all of you were fired.
Yeah.
But she saved the fucking show because you all were friggin' anchors. But then those are the 3 they wrote last season. This season, they wrote 2, Sweet Charity and Let's Face the Music, this one. And the episode was directed by old reliable John Boab.
How phoning it in do you think he is at this point in the show? Like, do you think he's even conscious during the tapings?
I don't think he's even there.
No, I don't think so. It's like a cardboard cutout even. They haven't even made that.
The AD is in charge.
Yeah.
The first time, the one where Natalie lost her virginity, they used their, I think, is it called associate director, Marion Deaton?
Oh, yeah.
You wonder if it wasn't like, Marion, would you just tell the girls where the fuck to stand and where the cameras need to go?
Yeah, I'm imagining Boab's kind of a all great and powerful Wizard of Oz at this point. They're like, no, he's in the booth. He's in there, and he told me to tell you. No, he's really there. I swear it.
Amazing. Okay, ready to go through the episode now.
Let's do it.
We start in the living room. There is suddenly a gigantic amplifier in the room, just there, like it's always been there. And Andy has an electric guitar, which apparently he can play. Not
really. It's he's playing a Telecaster, which wouldn't sound like that. First of all,
okay,
it wouldn't be a heavy metal guitar. That's your first mistake there. And it's in the 80s, and you would think they would have got like a real 80s looking heavy metal guitar, but instead they get like a Bruce Springsteen Telecaster, which is just wrong.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. You would be the authority on this because you were part of a punk band back in your misled youth.
I'm surrounded by guitars. Have you ever done any sort of analysis on how many episodes like start in what room? So I feel like the majority start in the living room.
Nowadays they do, especially because you realize Over Our Heads only appeared once this entire season
to close it.
We talked about when we had Paul Vogt on the show for Mrs. Garrett's wedding. At one point he said, does everything happen in the living room? Because it was true. We were shocked that they actually went out to the Winnebago and had the wedding at the campground, because he was pretty convinced from part 1 with the nightmare sequence and all that stuff that everything happens in the living room.
Yeah, they don't even go upstairs anymore. Like, when's the last time they went upstairs? Have they gone upstairs this whole season?
They have, yes. We do go upstairs a few times. And though it does upset me that oftentimes they go upstairs and they go up to that first landing and go off to the left side of your screen. That's Beverly Ann's bedroom.
Yeah.
That's where Mrs. Garrett's bedroom was. And yet everybody, you see them coming in and out and going to and from there like it's nothing. And it's like, girls, we know y'all's bedroom is one more landing up. You got to go. Where the fuck are you going?
Have you ever seen a photo of the backstage, what it looks like up there?
No.
I have. Let's see if I can find it.
Dude!
Yeah, because I also have the ones from Just the 10 of Us, because they would often take the continuity photos right before the person was supposed to enter the scene.
Oh, yeah.
So they'd snap Polaroid. And it's shocking. It's basically a ladder that they climb up, and then like right off camera, it's just like a plywood landing. Like it looks like,
I believe it.
Looks like a corner of a Home Depot. So I'm wondering if like they just didn't have the ladder on the other side anymore or something like that.
Well, and it's just easier because, I mean, if you go all the way up there, you do got to come all the way the fuck down.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm sure it was just like, just go off the side there. We're just going to pretend that that is there.
No one in 30 years is going to do a podcast about this where they look at which direction people go in. Don't worry about it. I'm John Boab.
I'll tell him to exit where the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I'm the god of this show.
I directed a shitty revival of Mame.
Oh, no. So we've got this guitar and the playing, and we talk about the middle-aged vaudevillian writers so many times. Rock music is loud, and it doesn't sound like music, and it's annoying. Jokes.
It's a love song, right? But it's all, I hate your guts and I'm going to murder you. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, there was one in a different episode where it's like, what did you think of the rock concert? Well, it was crazy. After the lead singer ate his guitar. Those crazy rock concerts.
Yeah, that's oof.
But Andy is pitching a song to Pippa for her to sing in her band, because apparently Pippa is in a band now.
Of course.
Okay.
Do we want to say the name of the band?
Does she say the name of the band?
Yes.
What is the name of the band?
The Witches of Eastland.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, I forgot. I meant to write that down. That's pretty awesome.
Come on.
It's the most 1988 joke. It's probably the best joke in the whole episode.
Yeah. So then we get Blair and Joe and Tootie and Natalie. In my notes, I forgot how we get them there. But anyhow.
Also, sorry to interrupt you, but now I want to see a band called the Bitches of Madison County.
But they have to be from Iowa.
Yeah.
And Iowa is not known for its output of punk bands.
Well, it's time to change that.
Yeah, that's true. My best friend is from Iowa. I'll tell him to call some family members and get on that.
Get on the corn horn. That's what they call it, right? The phone? And they call that in Iowa?
So speaking of Witches of Eastwick being a very 1988 reference, at one point when Blair is telling the girls how happy she is that she's been in touch with this gentleman named Sergio of the Golden Mirror Spa, and he's going to be doing a fund matching thing for the big fundraiser happening at the community center. When it's asked, wait a minute, who's this Sergio guy? And this is when Natalie goes into a Robin Leach impression from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Well, she goes into a Dana Carvey as Robin Leach impression.
Dude, get out of my brain.
Yep.
Get out of my brain, because what? Tell us, what was the punchline?
Including the I'm yelling and I don't know why.
I mean, both NBC shows, maybe it's okay for you to rip off jokes.
Yeah. And I mean, Dana Carvey started in 86 on the Dana Carvey. I mean, he's already huge. He's, SNL's in its comeback phase now. So that is that's not like that's some obscure joke that no one's heard. Dana Carvey is fairly well known at this point.
Well, I will say every Dana Carvey impression, every single person he does an impression of, when anybody does an impression of that person, they're always doing Dana Carvey's impression of it. Just like whenever Catherine O'Hara would do Katharine Hepburn, she does Martin Short's impression of Katharine Hepburn.
Yes, exactly. And who was it? Is it Is it Dana that said that at one point he met Bill Hader and Bill Hader said to Dana Gould, when I'm doing Vincent Price, I'm doing you doing Vincent Price.
Yeah. Of course he is.
Because Dana Gould's Vincent Price is amazing. And again, I love when I talk with you, Ken, and I can just throw out Dana because he's your friend.
Yeah.
Because it's just dropping the name Dana, Carvey, Gould, whatever. We're all friends.
Had I done the Halloween episode before the last time we chatted, or was that after?
Yours?
Yeah. When I had Dana on.
We were here. I talked about your shorts that you put out. It was right around October. We did discuss that you had put out 31 fucking shorts, dude.
Yeah, that was insane.
How long did you wear the shorts before you put them out?
Well, it'd be about 24 hours. There's one pair a day. Yeah,
that's not long enough.
It's not that hot in that time of year, so there's no.
And then Matthew's next question: did you put them into Ziploc bags after? And
they're all in the freezer and dated, signed and dated.
and what would the cost be to acquire one of these?
I took them to a notary.
So the big deal is that this rich dude who's going to match the funds for the fundraiser, he has invited all of them to go to his spa for a full treatment. And the girls are like, yes, absolutely.
Have you ever been to a spa? I've never been to a spa. I feel like it would creep me out.
Thank you. I cannot have my personal space I don't need, it does not relax me. The idea of having a stranger.
It's opposite.
My naked body.
Yeah.
I'm in my head the whole time. Tickly feet. Don't touch my feet. Oh my God. Too close to my butthole. Oh God. Okay.
Or just even like, what are you doing? What's happening? Yeah. Because it's almost like the anxiety you have at the dentist. Like when you don't know, because eventually you get the routine. You're now comes this part, but you're like, what does that thing do? What's the I don't know.
So neither of you has ever had a massage?
No. Nope, not once.
Oh, I tell them when I get a pedicure, I tell them I don't want the foot massage. Don't do that to me.
Wow. That's the best part.
My dad always goes and gets that little like fish thing with the fish.
No, but I'm not about to. No, so I'm with Joe.
Unfortunately, if you've seen too many porns that misrepresent this, typically when you're doing a massage, they've got sheets over your body. They're reaching under the sheets. They don't touch any of your no place.
Wait, are you going to a Hasidic massage parlor?
No. And then like when it's like, okay, it's time for you to turn over. Literally, they hold up just the sheet to make sure it doesn't slip out of the way. So you're covered the whole time. Like there's modesty. And if you really, really have a problem with it, you can keep your underwear on. They're not going to give you a problem.
They don't go, I insist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to slide these off right now.
It really won't work.
Yeah. So the idea that, we've seen other types of film representations where just laying there, buck ass naked, broad daylight, and oh, look, got a boner. What are you going to do with that? Doesn't happen. Believe me, I've tried.
Slight tangent again. I used to love to read the police log in Somerville when I lived there in Somerville, Massachusetts.
Who doesn't?
And amazing. And constantly the cops were arresting people at massage parlors. And they would always mention, and this was so specific, and I don't know why they put this in all the listings. They'd go, police read that found out about this massage parlor on rubmaps.com. And it was like they were sponsored by this site called rubmaps.com. Like there was no reason for them to include the URL of the site that they would find out about these things. And every week it was in there. I was like, why?
Wow. But Joe's reticence to attend the spa. Here's the deal. It's not, when you're at the spa, it's not like you have a team of people doing 50,000 things. A spa is a place where you make an appointment for a facial or for a pedicure or to get your hair cut or your makeup done.
Not if the owner is inviting you and you're getting the full treatment with the wheel wax and all the things,
But it's still a la carte. The fact is, Joe could have just gone and said, fine, let him trim my hair, let him paint my face, because, I don't know how to wear makeup anyway, being a a manly woman. So the fact is, it's a la carte. It's not like, well, you show up to the spa and you get the treatments, whether you want them or not. And with the final line of the scene, Joe going, okay, I'll go with you, but nobody's going to wax my anything.
Yeah.
No, Joe, they're not. Because if you don't request that service, it's not going to happen, dear.
I thought it was awkward because everybody in the room now knows that like Joe has full bush now down there.
I mean, come on though. We all kind of assume that, right?
Come on. 1988. Yeah. That was
looks like she's got a macrame owl between her legs.
But yeah, I mean, 1988 body hair wise was still very much the 70s, wasn't it?
I don't think this is humanly possible, but the word rattan comes to mind.
And there's a rat living in that rattan. It's so thick.
Yeah. But I was like, when people are in like robes with like the like a towel on their head and stuff, like, I don't want to be around people like that.
Well, again, the service is, I'm not, and I know that like, if you go with a bunch of friends, you can find a room where you're all getting your pedicures done together. Like there can be kind of this spa party thing, but
what the hell kind of friends are those?
Well, women's.
Gross. Women go to the bathroom together, so
yeah,
and talk while they're shitting. I don't understand.
I'd like a stranger to rub me down, but I really like my best friends there too, and have that happen to them as well.
But that's the thing, is that whenever I've gone to a spa with my sister and we've gotten massages, and it's like, okay, I'm going off to this room with this therapist and you're going off there, and then we reconvene after. It's
compare notes.
Compare notes. I don't know if, other than like, the movie The Women, where you just have these, gaggles of women assembled in a room where they're all being worked on simultaneously. That's just not been my experience.
Here's my second Wizard of Oz reference of the episode. I just imagine it's like at the end of Wizard of Oz when they're like restuffing the scarecrow and like buffing, this Tin Man.
That is exactly what I wrote down when they could follow Tootie in. I was like, Jesus, should they be singing clip, clip, here's a pair of tra-la-las? That was insane. Ken, it's like we're dating.
It's true.
So then the next scene, we're still in the living room. It is later the same day. Pippa and her band are there. Andy is helping with the gigantic amplifiers. We have two guitarists, only one of whom speaks, so only one of whom was paid a decent day rate. There is a drummer, and Pippa is apparently going to be the vocalist, but the guitarist that does the talking, the blonde chick, is Tuesday Night. K-N-I-G-H-T.
Who I've met.
What?
Yeah, I have. Oh, I don't have it in the room. I have autographed records that she did, because she's in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4.
Yes,
the Dream Master in 1988, and she actually wrote and recorded the theme song to that Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And I have she gave me a single of that signed to me, and I have her album that she put out in 1987, which is actually a pretty good 80s pop record.
I was listening to it also. I did pull it up on Apple Music, and it has kind of a wanting to be Madonna kind of a sound.
Yeah, it's almost freestyle, but it's like a little dance poppy.
Yeah. A lot of like drum machine stuff going on. To me, it sounded a lot like early Madonna.
Sure.
And if you're a female pop star in 1988, why wouldn't you try to go that route? That you'd be crazy not to. And then there's the drummer, Hannah Cutrona. And she is, it's really weird because her career only spans from 82 to 92 and has 20 credits in those 10 years, which is pretty good. And it says she was a regular on the series Sister Kate from 89 to 90 for 19 episodes. What was Sister Kate, Ken?
God, I remember Sister Kate.
It was about orphans, and the sister was played by English actress
Stephanie Beacham.
That's right, Stephanie Beacham.
Oh, okay.
Who I also almost had on the show. Stephanie Beacham played this like acerbic, no-nonsense nun who was the matriarch of this home of orphans, including Jason Priestley, I believe, if memory serves. And, they were always getting into trouble, and they were like a mixed race and various ages. And yeah, it was only one season. It was paired up with a show that starred Dan Aykroyd as a motorcycle driving priest.
Oh, geez.
And that also wasn't very popular. But yeah, they were trying to do the comedy. Nothing's funnier than Orphans and Nuns, right?
Yeah, clergy comedy, never not funny. It's funny because again, 89 to 90, that was my senior year of college. So
yeah,
I was
a show for you.
I was literally not watching network television at that point. So we get a little bit with Beverly Ann walking by the amplifier just as someone strums the guitar. And it's like, whoa, rock music's loud.
Very little Beverly Ann in this episode. If you're a big Cloris Leachman fan, she is in like a half a scene.
Yeah. However, if you are a big Sherry Austin fan, like Ken Reid,
right.
You get a lot of Pippa. And when she comes in her quote unquote performance outfit, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is very, very form-fitting, isn't it?
She's basically wearing Raquel Welch's outfit from Myra Breckenridge.
Oh like my God, you're right.
Like, it's the exact outfit from like iconic outfit of, I don't know if that was on purpose, but it's like pretty much the exact same outfit, which is weirdly specific.
Well, it's red, white, and blue with stars and stripes. I guess the thing is she's trying to go for an American look, like she has a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, it's boots and everything.
Yeah, boots and stuff like that.
I feel a little creepy commenting on it now because I think she's like 17 in this.
I think she is 17 also.
But I was like 7, so at the time.
Yeah.
So
it literally looks like a bathing suit with a skirt attached to it.
Yeah,
and so it's very, so it's very, very form-fitting and revealing, but it is also, it does look kind of drum majorette or,
it's a little Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders.
Yeah, but not even that sexy. Even though it is form-fitting, it still has like a toddlers in tiaras.
There's a beauty pageant vibe to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what she'd wear in her talent portion. So
something should have been twirled.
So the girls are not impressed with this look. Tuesday night, particularly, her character's name is Amy. She is of the group. I believe the term would be she's the bitch,
or just the creative core.
Thank you.
There's
a vision.
Keith Richards, like
she goes, that outfit you're wearing, I have one thing to say, as she's pretending to throw up and stick her finger down her throat.
I took issue, and I'm sorry, because like this is where we find out like Pippa's like, I'm trying to make friends with these girls. Why are you in a band that you are not friends with these people? They don't like you, obviously, and you're in a punk band, and you know what punk is from the first, when Andy's like, here's a good song. She's like, it's not punk enough, is it? And then you show up in that. What?
Yeah.
Come on. Like I would, and that's the thing about like looking at like TV shows, like those girls are dressed like the girls in the El DeBarge episode that are like, we have a mailing list called What We're Up To, and it's what we're up to. Like they're all dressed like Catholics. Like they're not dressed like punk rockers in this. It would have been funnier if she had walked in with her hair done up and the girls be like,
and went too far.
Okay.
Like,
dial it back. Yeah.
She should be dressed like Kelly LeBrock in Weird Science when she goes to visit Gary's parents. Like that should be the outfit that she has on there. And I'm not just saying that as some sort of weird fan fiction. But there is a good joke earlier in the episode, like when we first see Pippa and Andy and they leave the scene, he goes, oh, let's go to the pet store and get you some jewelry. Like they should have paid that off. Like that actually would have been accurate.
Mm-hmm. True.
But it's the song's not that bad as far as like fake punk rock songs go in shows, and I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
This one isn't the worst I've ever seen. But yeah, this band does not make sense.
She sings, don't they sing Bad Girls in Trouble? Isn't that a real song?
No.
That was written for this? Was that a Ray Colcord original then?
I don't think it was written for this. Although like in the Kate and Allie episode where Kate's daughter starts a band, she just sings tube songs for some reason. They keep singing One in a Million Girl and Talk to You Later. I don't know why they're only singing tube songs.
Well, it didn't occur to me to look this up, but I mean, it could have been a Tuesday night song. It could have been a Hannah Katrona, because
was writing songs at this time.
Is when they had Michael Damian on as Flyman.
He does Rock On, doesn't he?
He sings, she's from a different world. How I long to get her into mine. And that's on his record. That's a Michael Damian original. Oddly, he's not credited with the song in the episode. By the way, on the checkout counter, what was it, yesterday, Matthew, or the day before? I texted you a picture. Young and the Restless, casting alert. Michael Damian to return. Michael Damian
back.
He's going to be going back to the soap.
Rock on, Michael Damian.
I mean, so yeah.
Summer of 1989 is just in my brain, and that's the year after this, is just Rock On and Bat Dance.
Yeah. Like literally his one-hit wonder hits.
And it's a cover.
Yeah. It is even.
Yeah, Rock On's a cover, yeah.
If it wasn't on the Broadway stage, then I don't know much about
Bad Girls in Trouble, never on Broadway stage.
Yeah, it was not saying that it shouldn't be. Great title.
Yeah,
and John Boab could direct it. Just saying.
Pippa, again, the Australian fascination we had in the late 80s, the Yahoo Serious. But I did a video, I don't know if you saw it, about Jocko, the Australian rules football player who was the Energizer.
Him. Yeah.
And he put out a punk rock song in Australia in 1988 called I'm an Individual. And I encourage you to watch the video for that because it will make you appreciate Bad Girls in Trouble a little bit more. Was a big hit. I'm an Individual.
I'll find it. I'll put it on the webpage for this. I'll find it on YouTube then. So that's pretty much it. It's just that when they sing Bad Girls in Trouble, Tootie and Natalie, by the way, if you're watching the syndicated version on Daily Motion, they cut the part where Tootie and Natalie come down the stairs and are supposed to be leaving to go to the spa. But Pippa says, stick around and listen to the song. And then the song happens and they're like, we're out of here. Yeah. Well, that doesn't happen. We don't ever see that end of the couch. But when they start singing the song, there's this moment of like, oh, wait, have Tootie and Natalie been sitting there the whole time?
It looks like it looks like the band is very rudely, like Tootie and Natalie are trying to just like watch TV. And they're just like playing their song. And it's like, what are you doing?
Well, and why are they rehearsing? If you other bitches are the ones that are the artists with the band, why is Pippa not going to their garage? Or why aren't they in their garage that we know they now have that wasn't there in previous seasons?
Nobody rehearses in a living room.
Thank you.
Unless they were going to be using the piano, which they're not.
No.
There's one musical instrument in that room all the time, and they're not using it when they're rehearsing with their bands.
Oh, God. So true. Yeah. Why would you rehearse in a living room?
They were just trying to give them a chance to give a squiz to their band.
All bands deserve a squiz, but the living room is not the place for squizzing.
Yeah. Yep. Acoustics are not nearly as good as you find in the garage. That's why the garage band is a thing. The living room band is not.
Have you ever seen Slumber Party Massacre Part 2?
Oh, how did I miss that?
Well, I couldn't because I don't remember Part 1 and I don't think I'd follow the narrative. And
I'm telling you, I recommend you watch this film, but it stars Crystal Bernard and she has an all-girl rock band. And
of course it
was from the same year. And that's what the band should be like, is the beginning of Slumber Party Massacre 2. Slumber Party Massacre 2 is like a parody of slasher movies. It was directed and written by women. And the slasher is like an Elvis guy with a guitar with a giant drill on the end. Like it's just all phallic, like ridiculousness. And there's full on musical numbers in it. It's a very underrated. That should be a stage musical. Forget 9 to 5. Slumber Party Massacre 2. Get that up on a stage.
Man. Okay. Well, I'd have to add that to the pile of Ken endorsed shows and movies that I have hundreds I need to see at this point. So I will more quickly encapsulate the following scene. we go to the Golden Mirror Spa. It is very high-end and fancy. They are greeted by a dude named Wayne. Later, there is another dude named Andre. And the girls are treated at the spa. Joe is not happy. Joe is still not having a good time. And she basically tries to leave. And then Blair says, let them at least do your hair. Okay, that's fine.
As someone who's been to spas, how does this stack up as a high-end spa? Is it believably high-end?
I can't say. Again, there's so much activity. It looks like more like a hair salon. I mean, hair salon's where you have multiple chairs and multiple things going on. But, again, at a spa, nowadays particularly, everything is just monochromatic, clean lines, aromatherapy, some Asian music playing in the background. Like, the aesthetic has changed dramatically. I had not been to a spa at this point in my life, so I can't tell you other than they make it look fancy. It's fine for.
I think it looks like what Hollywood wants people to believe a high-end spa would look like.
Yeah, it's like the beauty school dropout scene of Grease. Like just slightly.
Like the high-end restaurant in It's a Living. Like, you know what I mean?
Like a less fun Earth Girls Are Easy spa.
Oh, there you go. Earth Girls Are Easy. God, that's a fun movie.
So it certainly doesn't look high end to me. If you had 3 hair-covered aliens, you could not make them look like Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jeff Goldblum in this salon.
Yeah, maybe not. But the deal is the guys playing Wayne and Andre are actually kind of famous, only we don't realize they're famous. So, Ken, you know something about people. Do you know, who do you want to talk about first? Andre?
Andre's the only one that I recognized.
Uh-huh.
But I recognized him immediately, and it's John Cassier, who at this time people would know as the winner of Star Search '87, the stand-up comedy realm. But he went on to be the voice of the Crypt Keeper on Tales from the Crypt. He's also a lunatic.
Oh, have you met him?
Oh, yeah. He does a lot of conventions and stuff, and he's a real strange guy.
Wow. So I recognized the other guy, but I was like, where do I know him from? The other guy playing the part of Wayne, the one that we see more of, he's credited as Peter Mark, but then I saw, when I looked him up, Peter Mark Jacobson. Immediately, one recognizes that as being one of the creators of The Nanny.
Ah, okay.
Not just the creator of The Nanny, but married to Fran Drescher at the time. So that's Fran Drescher's husband.
At the time of this episode or at the time of The Nanny?
At the time of The Nanny.
Okay.
Nanny was 93 to 99.
Yep. Both of these guys go, I would like to be in this business, but not in front of the camera anymore.
Yes. This probably ended those front of camera careers for them. But then, of course, the story is that you also will recognize Peter Mark Jacobson as one of the producers of Happily Divorced, the subsequent series that Fran Drescher did on TV Land about a husband and wife who divorced and remained friends because he is gay. Also autobiographical.
That happened a lot. That was a very common practice at the time.
Yeah. And the joke you talked about before is that these two guys speak in French accents because, French accents are the height of fon-fonness. How much, remember in the early seasons, how many times Blair would throw French into her speech because, Blair's a rich person. Rich people say, au contraire, and all that shit.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. But then as soon as they're having trouble with Joe not wanting to accept the treatments that they're offering her, when they go off to an aside talking, the two of them, not only do they talk in non-French accents, they talk in full-on New York, like Brooklyn accents. And to the point where, as they say, okay, do we have a game plan? You're going to take care of her. I do this. Okay, good. They actually say, bada bing, bada boom.
It's a little gilding the lily there.
Wow.
I will say there was in addition to America's obsession with Australia in the late 80s, there was a more obsessive approach to ritziness with French things. Like remember there was like everything was like Le Creuset and like Perrier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Everyone was like, ooh.
Yeah, Le Car. Wasn't that Renault?
Yeah.
Renault made Le Car. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. You're right. There was a thing going on. It was just like ugh.
Grey Poupon.
That's where we go to commercial, is when it's like, okay, we'll take the treatment, blah, 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 and Joe's going to stay. A lot happens in this episode. Jesus.
But
because we still have a lot to go.
At the same time, nothing happens.
Yeah. Nothing sensible or worthwhile happens. Anyway, when we come back from commercial, there's another chunk cut from syndication. It's another little stint with the punk band in the living room. Assuming, Ken, you watch the DVDs,
of course,
as we did. So that
set
scene
right here
is, oh, yep, that's what we all got. Yep, the box set, man. So the band is just leaving the living room, and Pippa says to Tuesday there, I was thinking, and she's like, you're not here to think. There's only one lead witch, and that's me. You don't like it? Get your own band.
Yeah.
It's like, but Pippa, and we had this coming up, by the way, in the future episode where they have the party where they lose Tootie's grandmother's necklace, or Jeff's grandmother's necklace they gave Tootie. That's another thing. It's that same thing of Pippa being, I'm just trying to make friends. I don't have any friends.
Because no one likes you, Pippa. Go home.
She's stealing friends from Americans.
Maybe if you slept and lived in the boarding school with your peers like all of the others do, what the fuck are you doing living with Beverly Ann to the point where Beverly Ann hired a contractor and created a bedroom for Andy? Necessary, needed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She adopted him.
Another bedroom for this bitch who's just showed up at our doorstep. And it's like, it's a residential boarding school.
Here's what I would argue, though. Both those bedrooms are for Andy. You understand what I'm saying? See what I'm saying here?
No. No. Explain it in graphic detail.
I just think Beverly Ann's like, here's your room and here's the room for your girlfriend so that you don't have to leave ever.
Oh.
Like, if you're going to drink, do it in my house.
Oh, okay. Sure, I could see Beverly Ann doing that. So when we come back from syndication, the point where we come back from commercial break in the Daily Motion version, is where Tootie comes home in the door, and this is the big parade of transformation.
Yeah.
To the point where Tootie comes in and poses. She's now gorgeous, made up in a cocktail dress. And after a comment is made and she comments back and she steps to the side, and then Natalie walks in. So was Natalie just standing there outside the door?
Yeah, she was waiting for her cue.
It's so stupid.
That's not how you enter living rooms with your friends. It's also whenever I've been a goon that fights on behalf of an evil person, I always attack the hero one at a time.
One at a time, yeah. Take your turns, yeah.
Walk into a room one at a time.
Smart strategy, yeah. I mean, we are homosexuals, Ken, and even we don't make entrances. It's fucking the RuPaul's Drag Race season premiere.
Well, how would you decide who went first?
Exactly. But I mean, Tootie does look gorgeous in this red dress with the black ruching accentuating her waist, strapless. And I mean, red looks great on her. Her hair's all up.
She's stacked.
She is, I mean, but the proportions of the dress really make her body.
It's a classic cut. It's sort of a Blade Runner neo-noir 80s, 40s thing going on.
Yeah, but with that 50s thing too, with the big full petticoated skirt kind of a thing. Yeah, great look for Tootie. And then Natalie comes in wearing a pretty blouse and wearing like a black bathrobe over it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a floor-length jacket, kind of a, callback to B. Arthur as Maud. But I mean, and it doesn't look bad. It's just one of those like, oh, that doesn't really do anything for Mindy Cohn. And Mindy Cohn is fairly slender at this stage of her life.
It looks like someone wanted to go home early. Like they were like, all right, we got the blouse. You know what? I don't just put that on. Go. So then we have the entrance of Joe.
Joe coming in where the big whackety schmackety is, they mixed up the hair color for her and Blair. And so Joe now has blonde hair.
Big blonde hair. Much bigger than Blair's.
Bigger than Blair's. And I have to say, considering we know this is a wig, there's no way it's not a wig. It looks like a wig. It is actually a fairly good representation of what Nancy McKeon's hairstyle and cut was during this, maybe with some extra poofing up and styling, but it is blonde.
And she kind of works as a blonde. Like I wouldn't think with her coloring it would totally work, but it doesn't look completely crazy.
It's supposed to be Blair's hair color accidentally was put on Joe. It's not Blair's shade, definitely. But this is a little less brassy and it does look good. And the choice of dress, and here's the other thing. We went away to a spa for a beauty day.
Who gives you dresses?
Thank you. No spa has a fucking rack of clothes.
Even I know that, and I've never been to a spa.
But Joe has got this stunning black form-fitting kind of a velvety thing, one shoulder, puffy sleeve on the one long sleeve. And even she comments on it, saying something to the effect of, well, yeah, now I got to go to this thing tonight looking like Pia Zadora. That is exactly who she looks like.
Yeah, funeral prom. Pia Zadora.
But I mean, at this stage, had Pia made her comeback in the late 80s? When did she had just her singing career?
Well, so her husband bought that award for her, what, in 82? And then
I think so.
She started singing, and she's in Hairspray in 90 or 89. So it was around then when she started doing the...
Yeah, she
plays... Yeah, it's around this time.
So it is around this time that she's reinvented as kind of, the singer, the nightclub the singer and stuff like that. So this is kind of the look. This is how she looked when she went on the Tonight Show and sang, and Johnny Carson was like, you have talent. I was nobody prepared me for this. We were going to actually just sit here and make fun of you. So I think that's the perfect way to describe it. But then the big punchline is, so Joe, if your hair color got mixed up with Blair's, what happened to Blair? And in she comes, whackety schmackety, the one who wanted to do the spa worst more than anybody. And her hair is green.
Which again,
whoa.
They're recycling different Strokes plot lines here.
Well, yeah, Brady Bunch. Hi.
But I mean, same universe.
Yes, exactly.
It's an in-universe ripoff. Yeah.
So, and it is so ridiculously fake looking. Like there is no way that is Blair's hair. Blair's hair could never look that style or that fake. It just looks like fake ass hair. It almost looks like the silver wig that she wore in Golden Oldies. It is not the same wig from Golden Oldies. This is a bigger hair. There's more hair on it.
It's a little curly too.
A little more curl to it, but there's definitely more hair.
Yeah.
It's, you couldn't say, well, did they trim the other? No, this is longer, a little longer. But again, it looks so fake. Like there's no way. It's like,
I can't blame them. It's a visual joke for 2 minutes of screen time. That's okay.
I guess, but again, you can borrow things. You could borrow a good, but yeah, because we never see it again after this.
And I am all for the whimsy of an 80s sitcom, but we're going to pretend like this high-end Fifth Avenue salon let her walk out of there with green hair.
Really?
And they dyed Joe's hair and was like, and Joe wasn't like, wait, I'm
not blonde.
No,
yeah, it didn't change that way when she got home.
Yeah.
Why didn't they make Blair? I think Blair should have come in with Joe's hair color. And you know what
that would make more sense.
Switch them up, but I get it. It's whimsical. It's a gag. It's a sight gag.
Yeah.
But it's just okay. You're at a high-end salon. They take the hairdryer off and it's green. They're like, ta-da!
Yeah, like her head's all bandaged up, and she's like, mirror.
Yeah,
that's next week.
But yeah, you're right that to make a dark-haired person's hair lighter, you have to lift it, strip the color out of it, and then deposit the actual shade. Your hair will lift. It will lift to orange, and you have to keep lifting it until there's no orange left and it's white.
And she'd feel some pain there. Like she'd notice some burning.
Yeah, maybe. But the thing is, it's like the process of, it should have been noticed when they lifted Joe's hair that it was now white.
There's more steps.
Wait a minute.
It's not a one-step
There's more
solution.
steps. And then the common term you hear is a toner. They might, if they ever do bleach your hair or they highlight your hair and it's a little too highlighty, they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to put a little toner on this. Toner, literally, it's just some color that tones it down.
What's the thing where I get the shower cap on and then they pull the hairs out through it?
That would be a 1994 Frost job.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Highlights.
Yeah, that thing.
That's what you want?
Yeah, I'd go for that. I could pull that off, right?
You could totally. It isn't until the turn of the millennium do we do the short spiky hair and then they put the color on the foil and then rub the foil to get the those Timberlake tips.
Yep. Timber tips.
That's timber. I played with those as a child. So we're at the center now, the fundraiser, the quote unquote final scene of the show. And Blair shows up looking like she's at a funeral. She has a scarf covering the alleged green hair. So thankfully we never have to see it again. But she also has on a black hat. I can't believe she didn't have dark sunglasses as well.
It's like a Jackie O in mourning kind of look.
Yes, exactly. And she's also wearing this weird black dress that's not the typical Blair type of a black dress. Not typical Lisa Welch, because she always, we know, likes things fitted to her waist. And I do have to pause a moment here. And I am so sorry. One of our faithful listeners, one of our fans, wrote into me when we did the George Clooney episode, The Reunion. Remember when he was going to take Blair to the reunion and the last minute she had to bail?
Yep.
And then Joe borrowed the other dress Blair was going to wear. The fan wrote and said, this dress looks like the dress that Lisa Welch wore in the future episode when her hair is green. And I was like, oh my God, is this the same dress? Well, I did check. I will post screen grabs on the website. It is not the same dress, but they are very similar. And it is 100% the same cut of a dress, which is why we said back then, again, did I say it was season 7, episode 17?
Yeah.
Back then. So that's 2 years ago in the real world. Even then we went, Joe looks good in this dress. I can't imagine this was a Blair dress that
they're different size women.
Yeah, well, and different bodies. That doesn't look like and this is kind of like, and this is what that dress would have looked like on Blair, and it doesn't look good compared to so many other looks. I mean, it looks fine. I'm not saying it looks bad, but anyway, so whoever it is that wrote into me, this was a long time ago when we were doing season 7, but please make a comment, leave a comment, make yourself known to me, and I'll happily give you credit that you did pose whether or not this was the same dress. And I always love a deep dive and a little bit of detective work. So
this person is sitting next to their computer with headphones on with a long white beard now and like cobwebs waiting for this.
Or they've been waiting for this episode to drop, thinking, okay, this is it. This is the time they're going to mention. They're going to say,
I'll be redeemed.
No, sorry. Whoever you are, please make yourself known. I will happily give you credit. So the difference in the dress is that the Joe dress, everything was sequined. All of the pattern of the foliage was sequined. In this, Blair, only the stuff around the neckline is sequined. So that's how you can tell the difference. So earlier we had said that there was a string quartet that Joe was happy to have booked for this event. Well, Tootie shows up because, Tootie, why not have Tootie be the one to bring this news? That they're not showing up. Well, they got a better offer.
She booked him because Tootie's in that string quartet world. Because when she came in earlier, she's like, I talked to the string quartet, and she's like, what swung them? And she's like, a big check.
Oh, okay. It was okay. So it does make sense. It was Tootie. Thank you. But she says they got a better offer.
Yeah.
If you knew how often I don't show up for jobs and then later say, hey, tell them I'm not going to be there. I got a better offer.
Yeah, string quartets, high demand. A lot of people are like, look, how much do I have to pay you to get you in at this office Christmas party today? Yeah, I don't know, that youth center that you committed to and presumably have a contract with is waiting on you, but nope.
This is peak skill, and you're the only string quartet. We've got to have you. So Tootie says she'll circulate and try to get as many donations as she can, since the people are not going to be happy when they learn there's no entertainment. So
but is that how donations work? Like, are people like,
thank you.
I only came here because I thought I was going to see a string quartet, and if I'm not, forget it.
And that's not even how fundraisers work.
No.
Like you charge a admission to the fund. It's just,
or you have a raffle or an auction or something, or like in a string quartet.
No.
A string quartet is the least performative musical act that there can be. There's not like, ladies and gentlemen, the string quartet. Like, they're playing in the background. That's what a string quartet does.
Yeah, agree. They should have gotten Flyman there, and he could have sung a concert of his songs. At least it would have been a headliner straight from Atlantic City.
Cinnamon would have been better.
Oh my God, yes, Cinnamon. Totally. That would have been.
She's on tour with George Clooney.
That's right. But
they can't afford her.
But now Cinnamon and Flyman, I smell another backdoor pilot opportunity that got missed.
Emphasis on smell.
Well, then to further, Matthew, your point you just made, to reiterate that point, this is where Sergio Pavan comes in. Now, this is the dude that owns the salon. We had met the guys that worked there with the fake accents. Now, this is the owner guy, the one who's making the big donation and matching the funds. And we'll pause to talk about the actor. Warren Burton is the name of the actor. 54 credits in a 43-year career. Movies, TV shows, several soaps, voice work. But the big thing is Sergio Pavan. We have the additional sitcom trope of, I'm looking for Blair Warner.
Right.
And Joe ends up stepping in. Well, because Blair is about to give him what for over her green hair. And before she has a chance to, Joe quickly jumps in and says, I'm Blair Warner. It's me, because I'm blonde and I'm Blair.
Right. Because he won't stand for it if the other Blair doesn't show her hair.
Yeah. She just doesn't want to. The premise is she doesn't want to piss him off because it's like, he's about to give us a lot of fucking money. Right. Shut up.
But is he? Because nobody's donating anything.
Yeah. Oh, but.
So.
But the deal is, then we have the fun of Blair saying, well, I'm Joe Polnicek and I work here. And so now they're satirizing one another by pretending to be one another. A lot of sitcom lying. Oh, yeah. Matthew loves some sitcom lying.
This is some real Patty Duke show level stuff on this one here. And it's also, who goes to a fundraiser, right, and hasn't decided if they're going to donate any money yet?
That's
I'll figure it out when I get there. Maybe.
Thank you.
Know. I'll take a look around, see if I think they deserve any money.
But this Sergio is the same thing. He's like, well, I'm looking forward to making my gigantic donation. I just can't wait to see. He even says a lot of people plan these events and think it's just socializing and serving some hors d'oeuvres. Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see the entertainment.
Right. And you have food.
Yeah. But
yeah. The guy that runs this high-end place on Fifth Avenue in New York goes to so many fundraisers where there's just no entertainment, no food. Yeah, that must suck to be him.
Well, he goes to go sit down and take his seat because he is so excited for this entertainment. So now we've got all the girls together with this. Whoa, what are we going to do? There's no entertainment. If only one of us had a lounge act that we could actually perform in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
When Mrs. Garrick goes off to fuck John Aston under the boardwalk. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ken? Season 6, episode 1.
Yes.
Joe miraculously is suddenly, I write songs that make the whole world sing.
I thought you were going to talk about Blair would go up and do some ventriloquism.
Thank you. Even that. And Beverly Ann plays the piano.
Yeah.
That's why they have a. She brought the piano from Appleton, Wisconsin.
And isn't Tootie a friggin' singer?
No.
Well, like in the mythology of the show.
Yeah.
She could go up and perform the whiz for everybody or whatever.
They could have thrown together their Christmas pageant that they did in the Big House.
The Prisoners.
Because that was a Christmas show they had done 2 years prior.
Yes.
And they still had ready to go at the quick. That was when we learned Mrs. Garrett played piano. She had never, ever sat at a piano before this episode. Ken,
that was
which
a private thing for her.
5 or 6.
She was very precious
she's
about
like,
that.
Oh, I'm a concert pianist. I learned while I was going to nursing school.
I can only play songs from bordellos from the 1800s.
So this whole thing of we have no entertainment and no possibility whatsoever. So this is where we go into these 2 little fantasy nugget things.
Yeah.
And, I talk too much. Ken, let you, our guest, do some talking for a little bit. Talk to us about these sequences.
So the first one is them playing string quartets, and it's like an attempt to do like an absurdist sort of like they were just really bad at it kind of thing. But it's like it's the closest thing to a modern joke I think that the Facts of Life ever had. Like that like it's like anti-humor almost.
In that it's not funny.
Yeah, and it goes on too long, and it doesn't go on long enough to be funny again, So that's the first one, and then the second one, it's like Pippa's band, and we get a reprise of Bad Girls in Trouble, except it's not Pippa's band; it's just Pippa singing with all them who are now in her band for some reason.
Well, because the other girls kicked her out. She said that when they were like, Pippa, at one point they were that desperate. They're like, Pippa, could your band? She's like,
oh, they kicked me out. Yeah.
I'm resisting the accent, Matthew. She says they kicked me out. It wasn't Bonzer while I laid some shrimp on the Barbie and bagged a wallaby.
There's that famous story when Charlie Watts referred to Mick Jagger as his singer, and Mick Jagger beat the shit out of Charlie Watts and said, "You're my fucking drummer."
Oh my God. But the first joke, like you said, it's kind of a non-joke. It's like, well, we don't have a string quartet, but there are 4 of us.
What if 4 people that can't play instruments tried to play the instruments?
And so it's the 4 of them pretending, and dubbed in, they're not actually playing.
Yeah.
Dubbed in is bad string quartet music. And so it's like, so the quote unquote joke is, it would probably be bad.
It's real college improv troupe level humor.
It's mercifully short. That is what I will credit whoever is responsible for saying this doesn't need to go on any longer than this. But Bad Girls in Trouble, we get the whole song.
Yep.
We get solos by each of them, including Tootie on the keytar. I love a keytar, man.
Yeah, there's keys in this now. It's been fully produced, and a wide array of instruments have been added to this song now.
Yeah. Oh, another thing in my notes. Where the fuck is Rick? Joe is dating a concert pianist who could sit there and do an evening of Chopin and Tchaikovsky and really elevate the shishi fan factor of this night by having this, classically trained concert pianist. Where the fuck is Rick?
Maybe he's on some boys' weekend with Paul Provenza.
They're off at Brokeback Mountain.
Talk about pianists.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Thank you for that visual. And I just hope one of them doesn't bottom after eating beans. That's the only thing about Brokeback Mountain that I took issue with.
Yeah. So all of the girls have some crazy costumes. We did ask Diana Eden about this, Ken, and we showed her a clip of it. And she literally said, I have no recollection of this whatsoever.
For her own sanity. I mean, she needed to go on and live her life after this, so it makes sense.
It's true.
Although she may not have anything to do with it because it's substandard. It is not up to her normal. Like, this looks like last minute, big party costume shop garbage.
Well, Diana is a nice English girl raised in Canada. Broadway dancer, tried to do film acting, and then decided to go into costuming. And she's 48 at this point. So you have a 48-year-old costumer having to come up with comedically punk costumes. I don't know what else she could have done. To me, it was fine considering it was supposed to be
dressed them like Vixen. I mean, not a punk band, but
Oh, okay.
Vixen, Edge of a Broken Heart, written by Richard Marx.
Okay. I mean,
but again,
maybe.
this is what Hollywood wants middle America to think a punk rock band looks like in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
I get it.
But
I just loved Blair's work during this.
Yeah.
I thought Blair completely stole the
Good
scene.
head work with the wig.
Good head work with the wig and good drumming.
Yeah.
She's hitting the cymbal at the right time. She's sitting not like Tootie, who's just like,
I don't know.
Looks like they gave Tracy Partridge a fucking keytar.
Yeah, Tootie might as well have had that thing on upside down and backwards, and it would have been more convincing.
Yeah.
So,
but Lisa, we've said, and she has said, she loved anytime she could go crazy and really go outside the box and do any of these crazy fantasy nightmare sequences. So
she's going full animal, like she's going animal.
Yes, looks like she's on the Muppet Show, and she is having a blast. And so it did not surprise me at all to see her taking it that far and yet fully supported, not making a fool of herself. She's just perfection always.
And Cloris also on the keyboard was I believed she was playing it.
Yeah, because Cloris actually plays. She had some sense of how to fake that.
I wasn't mad at her.
Yeah. So Ken, earlier you had said, who would have thought 30 something years later, we'd all be. Diana did say to us, she's like, if I had any idea that 35 years down the road, I'd be asked questions, I might have paid more attention. Who would have thought the show would have had such longevity and lasting power? Yeah. Really?
Obviously not the people involved with making it.
But the good thing, and they changed the hairstyles. They're all wearing various wigs and stuff. Joe's hair is still blonde. Blair's hair is still green.
Well, she's in a punk band.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact is that if we had to quickly pull together something tonight, right now, what would it look like? And lastly, we do need to, for Ken's sake, address how Pippa is dressed. The best I could do is she looks like Cyndi Lauper meets Carmen Miranda.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. I mean, if I were a single man and was putting an ad on a dating website, that would be how I would describe what I was looking for.
That's what you would look for on rubmaps.com. A Cyndi Lauper, Carmen Miranda type.
Girls just want to have fruit.
So, but we are at these two, when we get to the Bad Girls in Trouble, like looking at the runtime, we're like 3 minutes from the end. We're like, what the fuck? How are they going to do? And they do this really bizarre thing where Joe says, we should just tell them the truth. That's what's going to happen.
Well, this is the lesson.
The lesson is you got to tell the truth about there not being entertainment. Don't tell the truth about I'm not Blair Warner and she's not Joe Polnichek.
No,
and we've been
know that.
Lying to you about our identities. That's not the truth that we are seeking at this point.
We've been telling you a completely inconsequential lie for no reason.
Yeah, thank you. So she tells him there's no entertainment, and he says, "You're honest. I admire that honesty. I'm going to write you a check for $10,000.
That's never happened to me.
Well, God knows I've tried. But it's like, okay. But then he says, so did you have a good time at the spa? At which point Blair is about to let him have it again. And then she realizes he's just giving them $10,000 in 1988. That's about like what?
It's like $7,000 now.
It's about.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, Matthew, did you look it up?
It's $25,165 today.
Why do you think he looked it up? He might just know.
He's a bit of a savant when it comes to math, as most actors.
He puts the math in Matthew.
Wow. Okay. So with that, the Blair decides to hold her tongue because, money does roll. He's pledging a lot of money and she does own this place and Joe works there. So she decides, nope, it's fine. No complaints. Great. So the final line of the episode, then I insist you come back and experience it all again next weekend. Whackity schmackity
Is
der.
it Sisyphus? That's one rolling the boulder up the hill.
Sisyphus, yes, rolls the boulder, and the eternal, never ending struggle. Like it's a lot like watching season 9 episodes of The Facts of Life.
See, really. I think they should have called the salon Sisyphus because that sounds fancy.
Sisyphus.
And then Sophisticated.
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated. And then that joke would work a little better at the end.
Oh, that would. But all the gay hairstylists that would be there, all the lisping things that I work at Sisyphus.
or all the gays that are doing a podcast about this who have speech impediments. Later. I'm grateful they didn't call it Sisyphus.
Yeah, that's true.
And so with that, the episode ends. And now, Matthew, would you like to take over and discuss this backdoor pilot?
I kept watching it thinking, what could this backdoor pilot be? And I didn't know what it was. I mean, Pippa in a punk band? I don't want to watch anything with Pippa in it.
Yeah. Pippa Punk, or it could be the Spa and our characters of Andre DeVitt, because it was called the Golden Mirror Spa.
Oh, that even sounds like a weird...
If they had spun it off from the Facts of Life, it could have been Facts of Life, Golden Mirror, then Golden Girls.
That would have been the link between the two.
And then they could have had at some point, like you do when you're in Miami, you pop up to Peekskill, New York to get your hair cut, and Sophia could accidentally get a bikini wax or something. And hilarity could have ensued.
Wax off. Yeah. Those you'd have those two characters that don't want anyone to find out they're actually from Brooklyn and they're doing French accents and they're doing, and the boss doesn't know and he thinks they're French and it's craziness.
That's the brilliance of bosom buddies without the inconvenience of the drag.
Yeah. You can get all the misunderstandings without the discomfort about your own sexuality.
Well, this has been an episode, and it happened.
Yeah, this is, I definitively think this is the weakest episode of season 9, which is saying a lot to your point earlier. But I still find Pippa very charming. I like the punk rock bands. I would have, I would happily have seen like a cop detective show, Encyclopedia Brown style, with her and Andy solving mysteries. Would be like like Remington Steele. Like a teenage Remington Steele.
and in Boston.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's
Spencer for Hire.
Spencer for Hire. Yeah. God, I mix up my shit. Sorry. So it just occurs to me that, as listeners of your podcast for so long, Ken, the wonderful TV guidance counselor, can you give us the sort of McDonald's tour of your punk rock career in your in your youth? Can you talk about your band and what you did?
Sure. So starting in the early 90s when I was like 12 or 13, I used to go hang out at the Rat, or the Rathskeller, but it's called the Rat in Kenmore Square. Would go see punk rock bands all the time. I hit puberty early, so I was like 6'3" and had sideburns. So no one checked IDs.
You were 12?
Yeah. And and I didn't drink, so I didn't cause any problems. So I would go to all these shows. And then they started a band in 95 and I was 15, and we started with bands like Dropkick Murphys and bands like that, and then we did fairly well, weirdly, and played with like The Offspring and the Mighty Mighty Bosstones and Rancid and like these bands that were relatively popular at that time, and did that till 1999, and then the other four guys got sick of me, and we all went to college, and I started doing stand-up instead. I started being funny on purpose, or at least attempting to.
And what was your band called?
We were called 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. And we put out one full length and a bunch of singles, and then we recorded a second album that never came out.
And you've played cuts on your show,
Yes.
as well as interviews of you, your younger self.
Oh yes, yeah. We were on a lot of college radio at the time, so I had 2 interviews from Emerson College and 1 from MIT. So yeah, it's very strange to hear interviews with yourself when you're 15 through 17, and you haven't yet figured out how to suppress your Boston accent.
It's young punk Boston, like literal punk.
Oh yeah,
Ken Reid, not just punk music, but punk like you were just there talking like this, and of course, all of us, our voices are so high.
We were getting in fights and fighting neo-Nazis with bats and all that kind of fun stuff.
And 30 Seconds Over Tokyo is a reference to what?
Well, it's a movie starring Spencer Tracy, but the reference specifically for us was it's a song by the band Perubu, who later started as a band called Rock from the Tombs from Cleveland, and half of them became the Dead Boys in the 70s New York with Stiv Bators, who's in Polyester, the John Waters movie, and the other half became became Perubu. They had a song called Final Solution that was most people know, or Heart of Darkness.
You have lived many lives, Ken Reid.
It's been very strange, yeah. Very, very odd. Yeah, and then like a ton of people that I knew from that time became very famous musicians, which is strange, or professional musicians, which is how I got a lot of the musicians on my show. And how I know, like Josh Cater, who did the theme song to my show, is in a band called the Smoking Popes, who were very big in the 90s, toured with Morrissey as his opening act, which did not go well for them. They got dropped from their major label, but they're on the Clueless soundtrack.
Okay.
Yeah, their song "Need You Around" was the lead single on the Clueless soundtrack. So that's how I kind of one of the areas of people I mined to get guests when I first started the show, and how I got a lot of musicians.
It's always fun when you have musicians on with a completely different perspective than, say, stand-ups, or you get TV writers. You have a wonderfully diverse amount of guests on your show, and I've said a million times how much I love TV Guidance Counselor, how much it has inspired me these past 4 years plus. Now I've been doing this over 4 years.
Goes by quick.
Matthew with me most of the journey here. And you've also been putting out the great shorts. You did your big 31 days of shorts for Halloween.
Yeah, I did a half-hour
Thanksgiving special.
For Thanksgiving. Yeah, I've done less for Christmas. I might ramp that up again. Yeah, it's funny. I like Lexi Alexander, the director, basically bullied me into doing them for like TikTok stuff. Mm-hmm. I said that in a nice way. And then some of them, yeah, it's weird. Like they're a fair amount of work. And some of them get like thousands of views and some of them get like 30. But they're kind of fun to do.
Well, Ken, at this point we're digging into Matthew's drinking time. So
let's get you drunk.
I love you, but
he's going to start having the DTs pretty soon.
Fair enough.
So.
What's going to be your drink of choice as soon as we hang up?
Oh, straight vodka.
Okay.
Mixers are for pussies.
It's true in alcohol and dances.
Yeah.
So, Ken, thank you again so much for doing this. Lucky number 7. It was a terrific time. And we have not heard the last of you yet. We still have at least 1, if not 2, that I believe you expressed interest in doing. And I believe we will be able to offer you at a future time.
Well, I look forward to it. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. I always have fun doing this.
Always. The pleasure is ours. Thank you so much, Ken. Smooches and goodbye. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you.
He's so handsome.
Filters, all filters.
6'3" and worth the climb.
Son of a bitch.
And there you have it. That was Ken Reid. We have so much fun when he's here. He always has such interesting stories and knowledge and sidebars. And let me tell you, the sidebars, this episode, we haven't even scratched the surface. I got the show edited and I was kind of shocked to find we have nearly a half hour of extras. That's crazy for a 1 hour and 20-something minute podcast as it is. But next week, we're going to be watching Season 9, Episode 18, called Less Than Perfect. You can watch the episode ahead of time for free at dailymotion.com. I will post the link in the show notes and on this episode's webpage. That is all for now. As always, guys, I am so appreciative that you are listening and tuning in. It means the world to me. So I cannot thank you enough. And also, remember, the facts of life are all about you.
Let's Face the Facts was created, produced, written, hosted, and edited by the wonderful David Almeida. Our theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Please visit FaceTheFactsPod.com for supplemental photos and videos, links to social media, and ways that you can support the show. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. This is Matthew Arder saying tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.